Before I get started, I want you to come up with an image when I say the word Paris. Just take a couple seconds and just think of something. Did you think of the Arc de Triomphe, the food, or did you think of the friendliness of the French people? I'm sure that most of you, like me, thought of the Eiffel Tower. Now, the Eiffel Tower is one of the most recognized and famous monuments in the world. It continues to be one of the more popular tourist attractions and has become the most prominent symbol of both Paris and France. I have seen this structure firsthand and will always remember it for its dazzling beauty, panoramic views of the City of Lights, and it is truly one of the more amazing feats of design and a must-see for any traveler. Now let's get into a little bit of history of this extraordinary structure. The Eiffel Tower was designed by Gustave Eiffel. It was specifically designed for the centerpiece for the 1889 World's Fair, or Exposition Universelle. And it would also celebrate, this World's Fair would also celebrate the French Revolution. The World's Fair was essentially where countries would display their groundbreaking scientific breakthroughs, as well as showing off their art and architecture. In fact, many pieces of architecture were built specifically for these World's Fair, and were demolished as soon as the exposition was over. This was ultimately to be the fate of the Eiffel Tower, but I will go into that a little bit later. The Eiffel Tower has not always been a beloved monument. In fact, many people were against it. They were not in favor of its exoskeleton design. It attracted both criticism from those who did not believe that it was possible to build, and also, as I mentioned before, for its artistic grounds. There was even a petition that was sent out to Charles Affon, the Minister of Works and Commissioner for the Exposition, and was published by Le Temps. The petition read, "We writers, painters, sculptors, architects, and passionate devotees of the hitherto untouched beauty of Paris protest with all our strength, with all our indignation, in the name of slighted French taste, against the erection of this useless and monstrous Eiffel Tower. To bring our arguments home, imagine for a moment a giddy, ridiculous tower dominating Paris like a gigantic black smokestack, crushing under its barbaric bulk Notre Dame, the Tour Saint-Jacques, the Louvre, the dome of Les Invalides, the Arc de Triomphe. All of our humiliated monuments will disappear in this ghastly dream. And for 20 years, we shall see stretching like a blot of ink the hateful shadow of the hateful column of bolted sheet metal." Gustave Eiffel responded to these criticisms by comparing his tower to the Egyptian pyramids. "My tower will be the tallest edifice ever erected by man. Will it not also be grandiose in its way? And why would something admirable in Egypt become hideous and ridiculous in Paris?" Some of the protesters were to change their minds when the tower was built. Others remained unconvinced. Guy de Maupassant, a popular French writer who was part of this petition, supposedly ate lunch in the tower's restaurant every day. When asked why, he answered that it was the only place in Paris where one could not see the tower. As for the construction of the tower, it began in 1887 and ended March 31st, 1889. No more than 300 workers were employed on site, and because Eiffel took safety precautions, including the use of movable stagings, guardrails, and screens, only one man died during construction. During its construction, the Eiffel Tower surpassed the Washington Monument to assume the title of the tallest man-made structure in the world, a title it held for 41 years until the Chrysler Building in New York City was built in 1930. However, because of the addition in 1957 of the antenna atop the Eiffel Tower, it is now taller than the Chrysler Building. Not including broadcast antennas, it is the second tallest structure in France, after the Millau Viaduct. Despite criticisms to its design, the tower was an immediate success when it debuted. There were no lifts in operation, however, and so the visitors who decided to climb the tower had to do so by foot, and it took over an hour to get to the top. By the end of the fair, nearly 2 million visitors went to see the tower. The Eiffel Tower was initially only supposed to stand for 20 years and was supposed to be dismantled in 1909 this was because of the original contest rules for the World's Fair stated that when designing a tower it was mandatory that it would be easily demolished. But since it proved to be valuable for communication purposes, it remained standing. Since the beginning of the 20th century, the tower has been used for radio transmission. Today, both radio and television stations broadcast their signals from the top of the tower. The tower has 3 levels for visitors. Tickets can be purchased to ascend by stairs or lift to the first and second levels. The walk from the ground level to the first level is over 300 steps, as it is from the walk from the first level to the second level. The third level is the highest, accessible only by lift. Stairs exist, but they are not usually open for public use. Both the first and second levels feature restaurants. In popular culture, the tower stands as a global landmark. The Eiffel Tower is featured in media, including films, video games, and television shows. In a commitment ceremony in 2007, Erica Eiffel, an American woman, famously married the Eiffel Tower. Her relationship with the tower has been the subject of extensive global publicity. In closing, according to the Eiffel Tower website, more than 200 million have visited the tower since its construction in 1889. The tower is the most visited paid monument in the world and will always continue to stand as a remarkable piece of architecture, beauty, and a beloved symbol of a man's creative ingenuity.